Well, today is Easter, so we will be taking a journey not only through Taurus, but also in conjunction, as Meg said, about how that all is all brought together as Aries moves into Taurus. And one of the Brotherhood of Light teachings that reiterates over and over are connected to, I should say, is intricately connected with the Judeo-Christian and Hermetic traditions, and that is regeneration and resurrection. And so we're going to dive into the ancient roots that reveal the universal sacredness of Easter, which is not merely a Christian celebration of what Christians call Christ's resurrection, but a cosmic festival of regeneration, thinking of it as uniting solar and lunar forces to renew the earth. This sacred moment cannot occur just with Aries, where the crucifixion and Passover are perceived to unfold, but only in the first Sunday after the first full moon following the vernal equinox, which is why Easter doesn't fall on the same day every year. It's through this precise celestial alignment, when the sun, exalted in Aries, partners with the moon, exalted in Taurus, that resurrection and regeneration manifest, which is guided by the law that we are here to study as hermeticians. In the Jewish Bible, the three covenants, I should say Jewish and Christian Bible, the three covenants mark this divine law. Abraham's through circumcision, the Israelites through Moses, and then humanity's through the mystical resurrection of the Christos. In our books, Zane interprets this third covenant as the law of regeneration, mirrored in the Christian narrative of Christ's resurrection 3 days after the cross. If we take a look at the Old Testament's bronze pillars, which you'll see as noted by Meg in Masonry and in many other spaces that also study Hermetic law, there are these two bronze pillars that are at the entrance of the temple, Jachin and Boaz. And of course, as in the Bible, it's represented in Solomon's temple, which is where we look to for the representations. Jachin meaning he will establish, or the law. So symbolizing this establishment, this covenant or the law, and symbolizing the divine order through which God's promises endure. The regeneration occurs by aligning our choices and in our life, a theme echoed across Hermetic, biblical, and astrological teachings, and very much looked at through the Church of Light in guiding us, in teaching us what choices to make as we move forward in our lives. I think I'm going to stay on this other slide. So thinking of the cosmic dance between Aries and Taurus as we move into this next sign, beginning really tomorrow, Easter's timing is no coincidence, as we've talked about. The sun crosses the vernal equinox into Aries, ruled by Mars, igniting the creative and masculine energy. Yet resurrection requires the feminine, the lunar force, exalted in Taurus and ruled by Venus. At the first full moon of the equinox, the sun in Aries opposes the moon in Libra, the sign of marriage, consummating their partnership. Only then, as the sun progresses into Taurus after this marriage, does Easter arrive, marking the fertile union that fecundates the earth with grass and flowers, as described by Meg. Zane emphasizes that the moon, exalted in Taurus, and Venus, its ruler, refine the sun's virile power. So we need the moon and Venus together to ensure this regeneration. Without the feminine cooperation, the sun's ascent into Jachin, the realm of the law, the spiritual establishment, cannot occur. Likewise, man's highest aspirations depend on woman's refining influence, ascending through mutual love, which is what we are taught in the books. And I want to reiterate, everything that I am talking about today is talked about in the books. So as you go through everything, you'll be able to see everything that is in this sermon today in the books. And it's just beautiful if you go and look and see and are able to notice if you haven't gone through all of the books. So if we look at Taurus and the law of temperance in the Tarot and the Arcanum 14, the alchemist, we notice that the alchemist aligns with Taurus, teaching regeneration and temperance. It counsels that steadfast effort guided by the law elevates us toward divine heights. Taurus, which is a fixed earth sign, embodies the patience, as Meg's described, urging us to balance material and spiritual pursuits. Because those born between April 21st and May 21st are found to be so interested in personal possessions, the key phrase, as Meg has discussed, is the I have. The physical is so necessary in developing the spiritual, as the ancients have recognized. The physical life and its opportunities should not be slighted, our books teach. Neither should spiritual aspirations be ignored. We are taught then to learn and render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. A quotation from Jesus in the Gospel of Mark, this render to Caesar quotation, which is in the New Testament of the Bible, and also brought into our teachings in the books. And so we looked to this past week, having been tax time, and a lot of people use this quote, and we were reminded that this saying is not just about paying taxes, but about aligning our actions with the law, including but not limited to those actions relating to material possessions. Zane references resurrection 41 times and regeneration 97 times in the book, underscoring their centrality in the Hermetic teachings. Biblical stories like Noah's flood, Saddam's fall, and moving, outward into other teachings of Atlantis' sinking, warn against materialism and misused mental powers. Numerology and the steps of choice. We need to remember that every moment of our lives is a choice. We move through our lives in choices. And it is in these choices that we learn the lessons of the Tarot, and that we learn the lessons taught in the Hermetic teachings. The numerology reveals that the law's progression to us. The 3 steps symbolize marriage, the 5 represent enlightenment, and the 7 signify the perfect union of the body and the soul and the spirit. Twice 7, 14, as we look at the Arcanum 14, reflects the complete blending of finer energies through love, as described by Meg, and the secret of rejuvenation. Each step requires our choices, and our choices aligned with the law that we learn in our Hermetic teachings, ensuring our spiritual vitality as we move through our different areas and spaces of rejuvenation and of renewal and of resurrection. You can see here the sevens, twice the sevens. We come together. And then also, it's interesting because you hear a lot about, oh, Easter is pagan and, it's not really Christian. There's a lot of course, uninformed chatter this time of year. And Easter does have its name, as Zane teaches, traced to lunar deities, Ishtar, Astarte, Eostar, celebrating the moon's exaltation in Taurus. At times we have seen things like Bacchian festivals, those sorts of things. They are perceived in modern times as these festivals of the mysteries that were focused on sort of, overdoing things and engaging in types of activities that the puritanical perceptions that we have some been raised with don't fit. If we really look to them, though, they are festivals of celebration of what the earth brings to us. And at the full moon, with the moon in Libra and the sun in Aries, we have seen across the ages that eggs symbolize unity and diversity. And so we see the eggs brought in, hidden like seeds in Taurus, fertile soil, bunnies, prolific and swift, representing Taurus's earthly decanate, linking the moon's mental agility to Venus's fertility. These symbols reflect the soul's journey, mirrored in the mysteries, where the sun cycle, birth, crucifixion, and resurrection parallels the soul's evolution through mineral, animal, and human stages, culminating in the regeneration's equinox. And so our Arcanum 14 goes along with these perceptions, marking a stage where the animal desires transmute into love's ecstatic exchange, sustaining vitality through choices aligned with the law. And we can see that in those exemplification of those ancient mysteries and some of the ancient festivals. And noticing that Easter even now is a joyful holiday, bringing in the excitement of the resurrection and the excitement of the spring. In the Jewish Passover in Aries, as it precedes Easter, it symbolizes the hope for a better cycle. As the lamb's blood marks the pillars, this hope matures into Taurus, where the sun and moon's union fulfills our law of regeneration, drawing the soul into Jacqueline's spiritual realm, noticing we're drawn into that spiritual realm by our choices aligned with the law. And then we move into the decanates specifically of Taurus, which reflect the choices under the law. Each Taurus decanate guides our choice under the law. It teaches balanced aspirations, warning us against fear's distortions. Those born under Taurus's first decanate wield very potent mental energy, akin to magic, but must choose to direct it constructively if the person would like to move through the next passage with the law in a manner that allows them to go to higher spaces of their progression. The masters of olden times, in tracing symbolic pictures in the sky, convey to us their conception of the influence of the various sections of the heavens, sometimes pictured in the highest attainment and sometimes pictured in the greatest obstacle to progress. And that's true if you look at our decanate cards, which are beautiful. And if you have not seen them, they're very worth obtaining. The masters teach us and brought in by Zane that fear in this first decanate blinds us to law's guidance. One of man's greatest enemies is fear, we are taught. By choosing clear, positive intentions, we manifest the divine will. Our second decanate of Taurus, influenced by Virgo, is the decanate of struggle, pictured by the Orion overcoming the bull's material limits. Those born here choose to wield electromagnetic force against obstacles, learning the task of the soul in every plane is to overcome the limitations of its environment. This is the decanate of struggle, and it is through the struggle that we learn to overcome those limitations that we find on this physical plane. And in the third decanate of Taurus, under Saturn, this is the decanate of mastery, depicted by Aruga, the charioteer. Those born here, May 11th through the 20th, choose to guide their soul and aid the weak, embodying the teaching. The function of a master is to control the forces of nature and use them for the benefit of all. Each moment offers a choice. We align with the law or we succumb to materialism. So bringing the teachings of Easter and the teachings of Taurus as we move into Taurus together, we note that Easter is rooted in the law of Jachin. We noted that the festival, the holiday, the time unites the Judeo-Christian and the Hermetic teachings. They're not separate, they're united. We can see that through the evolution of the Hermetic teachings back from ancient Egypt forward. And each reveals the shared wisdom learned through the ages. As the sun in Aries and the moon in Taurus consummate the union at the end of the full moon, they model the regeneration we seek. So let us choose temperance, as we are also learning from Meg and her teachings brought today. Let us overcome fear and let us struggle towards mastery, aligning each moment with the law. By uniting the masculine and the feminine energies in balance, as the sun and moon do at this time, we ascend into Jachin, the realm of the divine establishment. Our soul ascends, fulfilling the soul's sacred pilgrimage through that regeneration, through that resurrection. I have a very short meditation to help us all perceive this in that space of consciousness that we don't necessarily go into as we're listening and trying to pay attention. And so no need to look at the screen. This is just a placeholder. And if you could choose, I invite you to move into a space of openness, a space in your body of calm and allowance, where you're simply listening and taking it in, allowing your body to be in a very comfortable position. If possible, aligning the neck and the head and the back, allowing that energy to flow up and down through the spine. As you begin into this comfortable space, into the space of the mind being calm, letting the thoughts pass by, noticing as you may become distracted to bring your attention to your breath, inviting you now to bring your attention to your breath or some other comfortable space, and just being there with it for a moment, allowing this to be your anchor. If at all your mind wanders you off, and noticing that you can bring your mind back into just being with the meditation. Beloved friends here, as we rest in the sacred light of Easter, let us enter a moment of mindfulness. aligning with the law of regeneration. We are feeling rooted like Taurus's earth, our spine tall like Jackin's pillar, gently closing your eyes to the extent you have not already done so, or softening your gaze, and turning your focus to the inward, to the temple of your soul, being with your breath or whatever anchor feels good to you. Noticing you can bring your mind there and calm it. And in this awareness of your breath or your anchor, notice the rhythm of life that flows like the moon's gentle tide in Taurus, the air entering and leaving without effort, just allowing. The breath is your connection to the present at all times, the holy breath, breathing in and out of you. With it, there is life. Without it, there is not life in the physical plane. This law establishes all things. Feeling your body grounded like the fertile soil of Taurus, cradled by the earth. Sensing your feet and your legs. Noticing your torso and your heart, your arms, your shoulders and your head, all connected to the heart, each part alive with the sun's creative fire, tempered by the moon's nurturing glow. Noticing if thoughts arise, fears, plans, distractions, observing them as clouds, as passing by in Libra's balanced sky, allowing them to drift without grasping, returning to your breath or your anchor, to this law's steady impulse. Now envision a seed within your heart, a spark of regeneration, like Easter's promise. With each breath, inhale, draw in the sun's strength from Aries, bold and clear. And exhale, releasing tension, letting the moon's Venusian grace in Taurus soften and renew you. This is temperance, the alchemist's art, as we bring in the Aries. Bring in the sun, exhale the moon and Venus, bringing the balance, the blended masculine and feminine, the body and spirit. We can silently affirm, I choose the law. I am renewed in love's sacred union. Continuing to breathe, feeling this union, the sacred marriage expand, connecting you to the earth's blooming flowers, to the congregation around you, to the cosmic dance of the sun and the moon. You are part of Jackin's divine establishment. You are whole and present. Rest in this stillness, this balance, the regeneration that this allows in each moment anew. Taking a few more breaths. Now, when you are ready, gently deepen your breath with a couple of deep breaths, trying to feel that bottom lobe of your lungs and your diaphragm expand. As you breathe in, breathe out, letting it all come out. Wiggling your fingers and your toes, remembering the connectedness from below to above into your heart. And as you feel it come together into your heart, noticing the union of balance there, I invite you to open your eyes whenever you're ready. And as you do so, mindfully carrying the alignment found here today with the law and your choices renewed like Easter's dawn. May you walk in temperance and love, regenerated by the law. Amen. So shall it be.